Yes, hello once again, and another warm welcome back to part 2 of the racing highlights from the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club's Round 3 event from North Carnduff Farm near Strathaven. And in this episode we have the highlights from the age-related races as the second part of the day's race programme. So let's just get straight into it and begin with the combined pre-1977s, under and over 40s and 50s, and the 125 class. And as you can see, the weather still absolutely perfect here at North Carnduff Farm. A bit windy, but nonetheless a superb day. So as the riders leave the line, it looks like quite a good start there by Craig Smith in second position on his RM125 Suzuki machine. So as they come towards us, it's number 416, it's Mike McClurty, your race leader. James Haddo there, number 124, is in third position with Andrew King in fourth on his HIS Stormer. So as the riders come round to complete lap 1, it's still number 416, Mike McClurty on the CR125 Honda. Second is Craig Smith. Third is James Haddo, fourth is Andrew King, fifth is Ian Stainton, and number 17 there is Mike van der Meer riding his CR125 Honda. But it's still Mike McClurty who's having another good day here at North Carnduff Farm, and as far as I'm aware, Mike McClurty has never actually been beaten this season so far. He's had win after win in all previous rounds of the Scottish Classic Club's 22 Championship. So as you can see, he's very quick on this light and nimble little CR125 Honda. So as they come round to complete another lap, it's still Mike McClurty there. Craig Smith is in second place, still chasing Mike McClurty for that pole position. Craig riding that 81 water-cooled RM125 Suzuki. And so, as I said, these are the age-related races for part 2 of the day's racing programme. So rather than race your bike with regards its year of manufacture and engine size, you're now racing your bike according to your date of birth. So by that ruling, you can then see big 500cc 4-stroke machines racing against little 125 2-stroke bikes, which of course can lead to quite an interesting combination. And so as our race leader comes across the line to start his last and final lap, it's still Mike McClurty who leads Craig Smith. Number 124 just going past there is James Haddo, sitting in third position. Looks like Andrew King's going through there in fourth on the HIS Stormer. But as we pick up our two race leaders, another good scrap here between Craig Smith and Mike McClurty, but it looks like Mike McClurty is heading towards another race win. But Craig Smith still giving a good account of himself there on that RM125 Suzuki and tries to go round the outside, but it looks like Mike McClurty's got the race in the bag, so it's a win for number 416 Mike McClurty, with Craig Smith coming across the line in second position. And so that now brings us along to the pre-1977s and over 60s and 65 class. These will be the veterans of the Scottish Classic Club, but nonetheless some very quick riders in this class, and it's a good start by Archie Baird there on the Norrie Patty 3L CZ machine. Peter Dobinson is in second position there on the Rickman Triumph Twin. Derek Macaulay has made another good start as well on the 250 Bultaco Persang, but it looks like Derek Macaulay's already moved up into second position. Peter Dobinson there, number 41, in third place. Jim Allison just close behind, but as they come round to complete lap 1 already. It's that man again, Derek McCauley, on that superbly quick Spanish 250 Bull Tackle Persang, who leads Archie Baird, number 180, on the CZ. But there's no doubt that Derek's been absolutely awesome on this little bike here at North Carnduff Farm this afternoon. He's been up there at the front racing against some of the bigger bikes like Stuart Rodden's big CCM early on, where he won that race. But Derek's riding absolutely superbly here today. So as he comes round to complete another lap, it's Archie Baird who is still sitting there in second position. So it looks like another good ride here by Derek McCauley. But I have to say, you certainly get very good value for your entry fee at these Scottish Classic race events, as you're almost guaranteed at least 6 races each round. So that's probably more than enough if you're just an average club rider, or maybe out for a bit of fun at the weekend. But it's still Derek McCauley, your race leader. Archie Baird now number 180 in second position. Third place now is Jim Allison there on the big CCM machine. But it's still the man from Arbroath, Derek McCauley, your race leader, as he crosses the line to start his last and final lap of this race. 4 laps, of course, for these older bikes, as we take a look at Archie Baird there, number 180. But another fantastic ride here by Derek McCauley on the little Bull Tackle as he heads towards another race win. Archie Baird doing very well there in second position. Jim Allison just going through on his CCM. But as he heads towards the checkered flag, it's another win for Derek McCauley on the 250 Bull Tackle Persang. Archie Baird is going to come across the line and take that second place finish. So next up we move on to the pre-1984 class, and this is the under and over 40s and 50s class. Quite a good selection of bikes and riders in this class. So we're just waiting on our race starter, Stuart Riddle, letting the riders go, and it's another good start. It looks like Craig Smith's made a good start on the Michael machine. David Loudon is in second position there. John Stokes is already moved up into third position. So as they make their way towards us, it is indeed David Loudon on the YZ465 Yamaha who is your race leader. Craig Smith this time is out on his Michael. Remember, Craig had a nice ride in the 125 class on his RM 125 Suzuki in a previous race, but this time he's out on his 400 twin shock Michael. So as they come round to complete lap 1, it's David Loudon on the Yamaha who leads Craig Smith. John Stokes there, number 151, is in third position. It looks like Andy Malloch is in fourth with Robert Kennedy, this time out on his big CCM as we take a look at number 23. That's Raymond Thompson, or Mad Max Michael, as he's often known. But just in case you're interested and you maybe like to race, or maybe just come along to one of the Scottish Classic rounds in 2022, all of the rider entry details and locations of future race events can of course be viewed on the club's website at classicscrambles.com. But we'd much prefer if you got that old race bike dug out from the back of the garage that's not been raced in many years, and maybe bring it along to one of our Scrambles events and just have a bit of fun on it. But again, all of the details about machine eligibility and what class you can ride your bike in are all on our club website. And so as we catch up with our race leaders once again, it's still number 75, David Loudon on the YZ465 Yamaha, and you can see why these bikes were so good way back in the day. They are very quick and handle superbly. As we take a look at John Stokes there, number 151 on the 480 Honda. Number 233 is Graham Smith. Number 4 is Robert Kennedy, and number 27 is Jim Colligan riding Mike Dobie's machine. Number 197 again is Chris Trotton on that KTM twin shock machine, and just coming towards us there, number 288 is Grant Willison. But it's still an epic battle at the front here between the YZ465 Yamaha of David Loudon, the 400 Michael of Craig Smith in second place, and of course John Stokes with his 480 Honda there at number 151. But these three, not much to separate them as they complete another racing lap. But once again, another very good turnout of pre-1984 bikes for this round 3 race event. Maybe not as many as in previous rounds this year, but it's still a quite healthy 14 or 15 bikes on the line, which is many more than some other organisations seem to be attracting these days. So let's all hope that that current trend continues for the remainder of our 2022 racing season. But it's still David Loudon, your race leader, as he comes round to complete another lap. Craig Smith is in second position still on the 400 Michael, with John Stokes in third. Graham Smith there on the IT250 Yamaha, number 233. As we take a look at number 27 there, Jim Colligan, who's now riding a borrowed CR250 Red Rocket due to a problem with his 490 Michael. But here's your race leader as he comes round to take the checkered flag. It's going to be another well-deserved win for number 75 David Loudon. Craig Smith is going to cross the line in second position, and it's going to be John Stokes on the 480 Honda who's going to finish in third. So next up we have the pre-1984 over 60s class. Not too many riders in this class due to machine breakdowns and older rider breakdowns, if you'd like to put it that way. But nonetheless, we should still see quite a good race as the riders leave the line. It looks like Paul Chiappa's made a good start on his 490 Michael. In second position there, it looks like it's number 16. That's Mike Foster on what looks like a 480 Honda. So it is indeed number 2, the veteran racer, Paul Chiappa, on the 490 Michael. I think Paul's about 63 now, so he's certainly cracking on in these years, a bit like myself, but as you can see, he's still super quick on that 490 Michael. And Paul, of course, is a Scottish racing legend in his own right. Number 23 there, or 231, that's Maurice Wharton. Maurice is riding that lovely old GS Michael machine, quite a rare enduro type bike that you very seldom see these days, but a nice looking bike that of Maurice Wharton's. But what a career this man's had in motocross. Remember, I used to go and watch Paul racing in the schoolboy scrambles races when he raced his old BSA Bantams as a schoolboy, and I think Paul's been racing bikes since he was about 10 years old, so he's certainly got a bit of history behind him. Number 16 in second place there is Mike Foster. Looks like Mike's riding a 480 Honda, doing quite well there in second position. Now the next round for the Scottish Classic Club will of course be held at Townfoot Farm in Thornhill on the 3rd of July, which is always a cracking day out, so maybe get yourself down to Thornhill near Dumfries if you want to see more of these bikes in action on the racetrack. So here's your race leader, Paul Chiappa, number 2. Second is Mike Foster, number 16, just making his way through. And number 35 there is John Porteous, riding that big Rotax 4-stroke thumper Husqvarna. But our race leader here, number 2, Paul Chiappa, looks like he's cruising to the finish line. Doesn't seem to be anybody close enough to make any sort of a challenge, so it's been quite a nice, easy run around the track for the old guy here, Paul Chiappa, number 2, and he's going to notch up another of the many wins that he's had in his career, so another good ride here by the veteran. And one of Paul's claim to fame was when he made that massive jump over the bomb hole at Hoxton Park. Paul did that big massive jump and consequently landed on top of the travelling marshal who was parked at trackside, but Paul was always remembered for that big jump across the bomb hole at that famous Hoxton Park. So it's another win for Paul Chiappa, number 2. And so moving right along, that brings us to the pre-77s, under and over 40s and 50s, and the 1-2-5 class again. And it looks like Mike McClurty is taking that hole shot, one of the many hole shots he's had here at North Carnduff Farm, but there just seems to be no putting this man down at all. He just seems to win every single race that he takes part in on this little 125 Honda. James Haddo there, number 124, on a CR 125 also. So as the riders come towards us after completing lap 1, it's still Mike McClurty, your race leader. It looks like Andrew King has come out in this race on his ancient AGIS 250 Stormer. So young Andrew doing very well against these other machines. James Haddo there still in 3rd place on his CR125 Honda. Ian Stainton, it looks like he was doing all right there until he got passed by Craig Smith on the Suzuki. But I don't know what you can say about this man, but Mike McClurty is just super quick on this little 2-stroke Honda, and as I mentioned previously, I think he's yet to be beaten in any races in this 2022 championship. So as you can see, he's already opened up a decent lead on the battle for 2nd place now, which is between James Haddo, number 124 there, and Craig Smith on the Suzuki. But it looks like our race leader is heading towards another win here at North Carnduff Farm, so this will be win number 4 for Mike McClurty, and it looks like James Haddo is going to cross the line in 2nd position with Craig Smith on the RM water-cooled Suzuki in 3rd. And so next up, we are back to the pre-1977s, over 60s and over 65s. The older guys, or the veterans of the Scottish Classic Racing Club. So as the riders leave the line, it looks like a good start by Brian Hamilton there, but Brian seems to have went a bit wide. It looks like Jim Allison has taken the early lead on the CCM, but Derek McCauley has already at the front of that chasing pack. So as we take a look at number 166 just going through there, that is of course Alan Reid. Although I have to say there's been at least 3 outstanding riders here at North Carnduff Farm this afternoon, and one of them is the leader of this race, Derek McCauley, of course. The second is Mike McClurty, who you've just had a look at, and of course David Loudon, who was excellent in the pre-1984 class. But it's Derek Macaulay, number 29 on that Spanish 250 Bull Tackle Persang, who is your race leader at the moment. But this particular race bike of Derek's is just one of a few bull tackles that Derek has in his collection, and you certainly don't see many of these Spanish bull tackles taking part in classic racing these days, and it's good that the likes of Derek keeps these older machines at the forefront of vintage racing. As we take a look at number 180, that's Archie Baird chasing Jim Allison at number 153 on the CCM. But this has certainly been another very dominant performance from this talented bull tackle rider, Derek Macaulay, as he makes his way around to cross the finish line to start his last and final lap of this race. So Derek riding superbly here at round 3, and that looks like Alan Reid's bike has had a mechanical failure of some kind. So it's a race leader, Derek Macaulay, as he comes round to take another well-deserved win on his bull tackle. And Derek in the past has had a bit of mechanical troubles with his old bull tackles, which have let him down in the past, but they've certainly not done that today as he chalks up another win. So it's going to be, it looks like Jim Allison, who's going to cross the line in second position on the CCM, with Archie Baird just nicking it there in third position. So here we go once again for the pre-84s over and under 40s and 50s class. Another good lineup of riders, and look out for number 75, David Loudon, who's been the star of this particular 1984 class show. And David Loudon's made another superb start into turn 1. Graham Smith is in second position. It looks like John Stokes is in third, but it's David Loudon once again on that rapid 1980, I think it is, YZ 465 Yamaha. And for me personally, this will be, I think it's the third year that I've attended this Strathaven racetrack, and it's certainly proving to be one of the more popular on the Scottish Classic racing calendar, because you can certainly see an improvement in the rider numbers and even spectators year on year as they attend this event, and you can see why it's such a great old school type racetrack. And so as we pick up the front runners once again, we are looking at the battle for second and third positions there between number 233, that's Graham Smith on the IT 250 Yamaha, who's leading John Stokes, I think number 151 on that CR 480 Honda. John Stokes trying to go down the inside of Graham Smith, or Zippy as he's known to his friends, but I don't think it's anything to do with Graham's speed. It has some other personal meaning, but we'll not bother going into that as we take a look at number 23, Raymond Thompson. But this is another one of the riders that I just mentioned previously being on top of their game here at round 3. Number 75, David Loudon. John Stokes has now moved up into second position. Graham Smith is now currently in third. Just pick up a few of the other riders coming towards us. Number 43 there is Andy Malloch on the Montesa. Number 4 there is Robert Kennedy, this time riding his big 560 4-stroke CCM bike. But of course 6 laps of the track for these pre-1984 bikes, and it's still David Loudon, your race leader, from number 151 John Stokes. But the track in perfect condition here for classic racing here at North Carnduff Farm. So as David Loudon crosses the line to complete another lap, we take a look at number 27. That's Jim Colligan, who's on a borrowed machine after his 490 Michael gave up the ghost, and he's riding Mike Dobie's Honda Red Rocket. But he's certainly having a very good day, this local man here, David Loudon, as he comes round to start his last and final lap, and he fully deserves this win again, because he's ridden absolutely superbly once more. And it's still John Stokes in second position on the big 480 Honda. And so as we look towards the far side of the track to pick up our race leader once again, it looks like it's going to be another win for number 75, David Loudon, and you can't say that this man doesn't deserve it, because he's been fantastic all afternoon. So as he comes towards the checkered flag, it's another win for David Loudon, and number 151 John Stokes on the 480 Honda is going to cross the line in second position. Now, normally we should have the pre-1984 over 60s class next, but because there were only 5 bikes in that particular class, I decided not to film the remaining 2 races for the over 60s. But suffice to say that they were both won by Paul Chiappa. So that brings us round to the pre-77s, under and over 40s and 50s, and of course the 125 class. So we're just waiting on our race starter, Stuart Riddle, letting the bikes loose from the line, and it looks like that Mike McClarty once again has got the whole shot and taken an early lead of this race. It's Craig Smith in second position on his RM125 Suzuki. Looks like Andrew King is in third there on his old HIS Stormer machine. James Haddo is in fourth position. As our 4 race leaders come towards us, it's Mike McClarty once again, number 416, your race leader. And just in case you're interested, the next event that I'll be attending will be the big scramble weekend at the world famous Drumlandrig Castle in the middle of June. But if you can't make it to that event, then you can still see all of what went down over the course of that weekend, courtesy of my classic Dirt Bike TV channel. So if you can't make that event and you want to see what went on, then make sure that you subscribe to Classic Dirt Bike TV. So as we look to pick up the race leaders at the front, it's still Mike McClarty in first position, with Craig Smith in second. As we take a look at number 293, that's Andrew King on the 1960s HIS Stormer in third position. Number 125 there is Ian Stainton riding that Alan Clues Stroker. But here's the man of the moment, number 416, Mike McClarty, who still leads Craig Smith at number 25. And it just looks like Craig just hasn't got that little bit extra grunt to make a pass on Mike McClarty's 125 Honda. Craig has basically followed Mike all afternoon, but just doesn't seem to have that little bit extra to make a pass on that rapid 125 Honda. So as our 2 race leaders battle it out for the win of this race, as they start their last and final lap, it's still Mike McClarty who is being hounded by Craig Smith, who is trying his damnedest to get past that 125 Honda, but Craig's went a bit wide in the corner there. But it looks like Mike McClarty's got this race once more in the bag. So this will be race number 6 for Mike McClarty as they head towards the checkered flag, but it's going to be a win for number 416 with number 25 Craig Smith crossing the line in second position. Okay, next up we have the final race for the pre-77s over 60s and over 65s. As you can see, not a big lineup of riders because as the day goes on, we do get riders who have either had mechanical troubles or maybe body troubles, and they tend not to take part in the later races of the day, but still enough riders in here to make a race of it. So it's Jim Allison, the early leader, but Derek McCauley has went down the outside on that 250 Bultaco and has already began opening up a little gap on Jim Allison, who is in second position. Archie Baird is in third on the Norrie Patty 3L CZ machine. But once again, that man, Mr. McCauley, doing superbly on that 250 Bultaco. When you consider that the bikes behind Derek are, I'm sure Jim Allison's is a 500cc plus 4-stroke machine, and Archie Baird in third place, I think, is riding a 360 or 380 CZ machine. So you can see that Derek McCauley has certainly got the better of these bigger bikes in this penultimate race of the day. But that very light and nimble 2-stroke 250 Bultaco of Derek's is certainly suiting this tight and twisty track as we take a look at number 13, which used to be 153, Jim Allison in second place, and Archie Baird is still in there with a shout in third position. But it's certainly been a fantastic day of vintage racing here at this nice racetrack here at North Carnduff Farm, as we take a look at the battle for second and third position between number 13 Jim Allison on the CCM bike and Archie Baird number 180 on the Czechoslovakian CZ. It looks like Archie's had a little excursion through the tapes because he's got a nice streamer trailing behind the back wheel of his CZ bike. But if you'd like to know any more information about the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club, then just pay a visit to their website at classicscrambles.com. So we're looking at our race leader as he comes round to take the checkered flag once again. It's the flying Arbroath man, Derek McCauley, on the 250 Bultaco, who is just about to notch up another race win. So coming across the line in second place, it will be Jim Allison on the CCM, with Archie Baird crossing the line in third. And so that quite nicely brings us to the final race of the day. This is the pre-84s over and under 40s and 50s. And as they leave the line, it looks like another good start by Mr. Loudon. But Graham Smith has also made a good start on the 250 IT Yamaha. John Stokes is currently in the third as they head into the turn. So it's David Loudon first, John Stokes in second, Graham Smith, number 233, is in third position. But I do hope you've enjoyed all of the racing highlights from this round 3 event here at North Carnduff Farm. So we are taking a look at our race leader, number 75, David Loudon on the 465 Yamaha. John Stokes is currently still in second position. Graham Smith is in third. And number 25 there, that's actually James Haddo, who's out on Craig Smith's 400 Michael. So as we look to pick up our race leaders once again on lap 2, it's still David Loudon who leads John Stokes. It doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to get past this very quick 465 Yamaha of David Loudon's. John Stokes is still in there in second position. But as you can see, the track is still in immaculate condition today, thanks to the lovely weather we've enjoyed here at round 3. James Haddo just crossing the line there on Craig Smith's Michael machine. As we take a look at some of the other riders coming through. Number 3 there, that's of course David Ray on his 490 Michael. But as you can see, it's quite a short lap here at Carnduff Farm, and these pre-1984 bikes can certainly put a lap in very quickly, as you can see. So it's that man again, David Loudon, who still leads this race from number 151 John Stokes as they cross the line to complete another lap. And we're looking at number 27 there, that's Andy Malloch, who's now on a borrowed bike. In fact, both these riders are on borrowed bikes, so they must have had mechanical issues with both of their machines. So Jim Colligan and Andy Malloch are both out there on borrowed machines. But there's still no change of leader at the front. It's still David Loudon with that slight advantage over John Stokes' 480 Honda. These big 480 Hondas are very quick machines, as you know. We're looking at James Haddo and Graham Smith there battling for that track position. But it's certainly been a fine afternoon of racing, and I do hope you've enjoyed all of the racing highlights from this round 3 event. Of course, you can see highlights from our next event, round 4 at Thornhill, by simply subscribing to my YouTube channel. So as our race leaders cross the line to start their last and final lap of this race, as we take a look at number 124 James Haddo on the 400 Michael as he tries to pass Graham Smith on the IT 250 Yamaha. But barring any mechanical issues with his bike, it looks like David Loudon is heading towards another win in this last and final race of the afternoon. So it's a win for number 75 David Loudon, and John Stokes is going to come through in second position. Well, that more or less concludes much of what went down on the day at this round 3 event of the Scottish Classic Club's race meeting, and I do hope you enjoyed all of the racing. And next up here on my channel is of course the big vintage race weekend at Drumlandrig Castle. So thanks once again for tuning in, and I do hope you'll all return to see more vintage dirt bikes right here on Classic Dirt Bike TV.